The topic of forgiveness has been on my mind a little bit. And I think because we are often taught that forgiveness is meant to bring you closer to God, to bring you closer to peace, to be a more healthy, positive person when you offer people forgiveness, right? Here's the thing. Anytime you go to look for examples of forgiveness or teachings of forgiveness, the only time it is explicitly taught for you to use the forgiveness in the act of forgiving the offender is usually taught by some patriarchal structure. But when you look at the true value and meaning of forgiveness and where that comes from, it's about seeking to understand where the other person's coming from, being able to acknowledge and see the point of view so you can understand perhaps why they may or may not have made the choices that they made. And then through that understanding, the act of forgiveness is to allow yourself to let go of the hurt and the anger and the emotions that are poisoning you, right? Like you learn about, the reasons behind the person's actions, and then you're no longer necessarily emotionally actively reacting to it. You can allow yourself that peace and understanding, okay, I see where they're coming from, and I don't need to sit here and resent it anymore, and you can move on. What they forget to tell you, though, when you go through this process of forgiveness, the process of forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean reconciling with the offender. The process of forgiveness doesn't mean giving the offender the clean slate, get out of jail free card. The process of forgiveness is to absolve yourself from the hurt that you're allowing yourself to carry based off of someone else's actions. That's all. So when you look to forgive, you can forgive yourself for carrying the hurt, the pain, the anger. You can even forgive yourself for allowing yourself to be in certain positions that cause someone else to hurt or betray you or whatever the case may be, right? Because we often will put that burden on if I hadn't just blah, 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 it wouldn't have never happened. How dare I? Forgive yourself. And then if you go through the process of learning to understand how someone's mind works and what their decision-making tree looks like in certain things, you can understand why they did what they did. That doesn't necessarily mean you accept it, though. You're just learning how other people behave. So things can potentially not be as personal or as direct or as hurtful or sharp in the future. And you can arm yourself to respond and react better to people in the future because you've given yourself the opportunity to understand them and forgive yourself for whatever you need to forgive yourself for. And then you grow and you move on and you move forward. And sometimes the offenders don't get to do that with you, and that is okay. Forgiveness is not meant to absolve the offender of their offense. The forgiveness is meant to release you from the chains of the emotions you feel based off of what has happened. Happy Sunday.